Marcus Carter, and I'm here with critically acclaimed author Tom Lyons as he embarks on the release of his second novel, One Shoe in Spring Hill. I'm really excited because I'm going to get an inside look on what was going on as he created this masterpiece, and you're going to share that with me. Tom Lyons.
Hey sir, how are you?
So tell me about this book, One Shoe in Spring Hill.
One Shoe in Spring Hills is another book by Tom Lyons designed to reach the family. You know, the family unit, strengthening that unit, building it, making it stronger.
I'm really excited. I got a teaser on it, so you already got me drawn in. I can't wait to finish it, but just in the part that I got to read, I'm taken aback about how you use the characters to tell so many stories about what's going on in society today. Now, was that on purpose?
On purpose, 100%. I think it's important that we use characters in this way as authors. When you're telling a story like this that has so many powerful messages in it, you got to find a unique way to bring those messages out, and who better than bring them out through each character in the book by just laying out a foundation to each reader that they can pull themselves into and say, you know, I see myself in this character. And that right there is something that will engage a reader right away. And that's what you want. That's what books are designed to do, engage the reader. And what better way to engage a reader by them identifying with that person or their character.
Let's not beat around the bush. You know, give people some actual information. What are some of the issues that you feel like you tackle in this book?
You know, if you have ever been a single mother, that's in this book. If you have ever had a struggling relationship with someone, that's in this book. If you ever love someone who don't love you back, that's in this book. If you have a father or a mother with a strong marriage, that is in this book. If you've ever made a decision based on what other people think about you or feel about you, you'll find that in One Shoe in Spring Hills.
Talk to me about some of the characters. Whose eyes are we getting to see these situations, these issues played out?
Yeah, you're getting to see them through close friends of the main character. The main character is Regina Wilkins, and her family and friends around her are kind of weighing in on what they see going on in her life. You know, it's funny that I wrote it that way because people look in and they have opinions all the time, but they're going on the inside of a person's mind about what another person is going through. And a lot of times they're going through the same things and we just don't know it. And readers are getting an insight to other characters' minds. The sister is in the book, the father, Regina's love interest is in the book, and other people are in the book who bring that out.
I think we're getting really ahead. I want to jump into all of these characters, all of these situations, but before I do that, the first thing that grabbed my attention about the book was the title, One Shoe in Spring Hill. What does that mean?
One Shoe in Spring Hills simply laid out that we are all walking through life, and in some ways, even though we're walking unbalanced. We're walking with one shoe. So there's a little hop to our step. Life is going good in this part of our life, but there's a broken piece of us. And that is the purpose of me titling the book One Shoe in Spring Hills. Yes, I got a great house, I got a great job, but it's my marriage all together. You know, my marriage life may be together, but it's my finances together. You know, that's why I call it One Shoe in Spring Hills.
Now that's a really realistic look at what we go through every day.
Every day.
Me and you as people.
Absolutely.
Now, where is the book set? Is the book set in contemporary times with contemporary issues, or give me the backdrop?
Everybody in this time, in this day, you can't find a situation in this book that doesn't touch all of our lives in this particular day in 2015. You cannot find it. You know, this book is going to touch every part of what America is made of. The fabric of the world, the fabric of America. You can find it in One Shoe in Spring Hills.
That's deep. So tell me, again, what's the underlying message? So what's underneath, what platform? We're talking about current events. We're talking about it being played out from a single mother to her family, to love interest. What's the overall underlying message?
The overall underlying message is still family. I think that's what I write about the most. It's still strengthening the family unit. It's still talking about those issues that go on within families that people don't want to necessarily talk about in a day-to-day conversation. We don't have a beer over these conversations. You know, we don't have a beer over I don't get along with my mother. You know, we just don't talk about it that much. If we do, we touch on it just a little bit. But a lot of times there's no end solution. There's no real healing that takes place. And I point to those solutions in the book, and I point to the issues that create the need for help, and writing that to the family.
So not only am I going to get a fantastic story, I'm also going to get a read on my moral compasses, which is what I feel like you're saying to me. So from you as an author, give me your backdrop on what you see outside that motivated you or inspired you to put this story together.
I see people generally walking through life with one shoe. I see myself. I can put myself in it. I see us being strong in so many different ways and not recognizing that we're not the only ones weak either. And a lot of times we play down those issues in our lives that make us weak, and we feel like we're the only ones that are going through what we're going through. And when that happens, a lot of times we lash out in different ways that are not good for our lives, and they affect other people around us. And I want people to get that in this book. I want to wake readers up to see that, we all as human beings are facing human issues, because they're just not to one race of people or one sect of people, richer or poor. All human beings face these issues.
Now that you bring up a really interesting point. Sometimes you can read a book and the hero wins in the end, the villain loses. How real do you get?
I get real. I get down deep and dirty real. I get so real that some readers may have to pause and say, I know somebody like this. This is my best friend. Or even better, there's a reader that's going to stop and pause and say, this is me. This is my life. I'm dealing with this right now. This is relevant to me. And that reader right there is the one who will continue reading and say, how did this person in the book come through this situation? Where did the red light come? Where did the stop come, a pause, and say, I got to look at my life. I got to figure out what's going on and how to move forward. Where did it come? And that's the reader I'm trying to reach.
Well, I did my homework on you, and after your first novel, the word on you was pretty strong. So I'm curious, after a reader picks up this book, they read it, they're transformed, what do you want them to feel, and then what do you want them to do?
I want them to feel peace, as I said after I wrote the first novel. I want them to feel a peace and a solidarity about life itself. I want them to feel hope, because hopelessness is a huge thing that all these issues come around. People feel hopelessness in their situations. They feel that they're the only ones in them. And a lot of times just knowing that you're not alone, that makes a difference for a lot of people. Knowing that another person already went through what you went through and they made it through it, that makes a difference.
So if we're to believe, I picked this book up and I believe family is the way to accomplish this. We need to reinvigorate, we need to reinforce and re-strengthen the idea of family. And then I put this book down and I'm at my family's throat. Now how do I deal with that?
I think more or less than anything, you do deal with it. Because a lot of people, think about this, a lot of people don't deal with it. They set it down for years, they leave it just where it is. I'm at my family's throat. Me and my sister, we don't get along. Me and my father, we have broken issues. Me and my mother, we don't see eye to eye. And they leave it right there. And they never try to engage their relative in a peaceful manner just by saying, you know what, we don't get along. Why is it that me and you don't get along? How many people, I'm in this room, you're in this room, you've had somebody that you don't get along with. Did you ever go up to them and say, we don't get along, can we talk about that?
After it was too late. After the damage has been done, I figured some things out.
I think that we have to do it, even if damage has been done. Because a lot of times, when you come to that place where you don't like somebody, you don't get along with, if it's a family member or friend, damage is already done because you don't, just for the fact that you don't get along, something's there in the middle, so the damage is done. So coming to the plate, coming to the table and saying, how do we deal with it? Let's talk. I think we can leave it right there, Marcus. Telling somebody that you have issue with in your family. I love you just because I have to, but do I really want to love someone just because I have to? I want pure love in my heart, for my family, for my friends. Let's come to the table and talk.
All right, you're doing it again. You got me really, really excited about reading this book. So let's take some of these scenarios we're talking about, and when we're being theoretical, let's really attach it to the characters and the storyline in this book. And give me an idea, or give the viewer out there an idea on what they can expect. What world are they entering into when they pick up One Shoe and Spring Hill?
They're entering into a world of politics. They're entering into a world of religion. They're entering into a world of families who are kind of broken. They're entering into today's world. All the issues that we face. We can talk, about the recent Supreme Court decision. We're in a world where you have millions of people who are angry because the Supreme Court said, yes, all people have the right to marry. And then you have a whole another group of people who are angry and say, hey, this country was built on Bible basics, and we have to not allow the Supreme Court to do this. We have to fight against it. And so people are passionate about things on two different sides. You're going to find situations like that in One Shoe and Spring Hills. And as the author, I want to put you as the reader on both sides of the field. I don't want you just in home field. I want you in the outfield too. I want you to be on both sides of the issues as a reader. And I think I do a good job of putting the reader there, so that even if you're on one side of the issue or the other, when you get to reading this book, you're going to think about the side that you're on. And you're going to say, am I really on the right side?
And I can't help but throw praise on you, because even to add to what you said, in the portion of the book that I read, it was interesting that if I'm reading the chapter about the character of the single mother, I can relate to that. I'm a single dad. Well, not a single, I'm a baby daddy, so but I can relate to how you put in the eyes of the single mother. And then the chapter about the son. I have a 14-year-old son, and I think it was really effective how you portrayed those characters, not just through the stereotypes, but through how people outside of that character can see that character through their own eyes. How much of it was organic? Like, I want to tell a compelling story that will build families, and how much of it was technique?
I think that all of it, of course it's hard to say that all of it's organic and all of it's technique, but all of it came from the heart. I can leave it there by saying all of it came from the heart. I wanted, or if I had to put a number on, I would say 80% organic, 20%. But it came from my heart. It came from my heart. I wanted to write a story where that 15-year-old teenager, if a 15-year-old teenager reads this book, he's going to say, this is how I feel right now. And his mom is in the other room, and she doesn't even know how he feels.
And I think you do an excellent job there as well. And I like for you to touch on, a lot of times, situations with families, people will be going through things and they don't know they're going through them. So even in your situation, you said it's this 15-year-old kid, he reads this, I'm going through that and I didn't even know it. They say a teacher's tool is a lesson learned.
Yes.
What are the lessons that someone will pick up from this book?
Well, they'll pick up, number one, they'll pick up that nothing gets done without talking, without coming to the table, without bringing the issues to the table. Number two, I'm hoping that they'll pick up some type of answers for whatever they're going through, some type of motivation for what they're going through to push them past the point that they're at. If they're at a place where they're just not going to deal, they're just done, they don't want to even talk about it, they don't want to live through it anymore. But you got two types of people in the world. You got people that say, I'm living where I am, and you know what, I'm tired of it, but they never do anything about it. But then you got people who say, hey, I'm living where I am and I want to change. Those are the people who get up and they make something happen. And I want readers to make something happen.
All right, on that note, I'm going to play devil's advocate. I'm that person that says you can't heal the world through a book. What's your response?
You're wrong. Read my book.
All right, I love that response. All right. To that point, I'm ready to go purchase my book. What do I do?
You go to Amazon.com. It'll be available on August 8, 2015. And it'll also be available on Kindle. We're going to have a special book release here in Chicago on August 8th, the same day of the actual availability of the book, in downtown Chicago at a special location, which you're going to be at. And I hope that others that want to come and help fill the room around Chicagoland, if you're in the city, you're welcome to come. Come on out It's going to be in a special place, like I said. You can meet us there. Just go to www.authortomlyons.com, or you can visit the author's webpage or the publisher's webpage at www.aoinnovativepublishing.com.
Now, will I get to hog all the glory there, or will your readers get a chance to ask you questions as well?
There's going to be a Q&A there at the event, so readers will get a chance 100% to ask me any question they want to, and that will be a good time. It's going to be a great night, and people are going to leave away with a memorable moment, and most of all, they're going to leave, because they're going to get snippets, they're going to leave saying, I can't wait to get home to finish this book.
All right, so there you have it. You know exactly why you should buy this book. And you also found out a way that you can actually connect with Tom Lyons, a blossoming author here in Chicago, as he releases his masterpiece. Again, I am Marcus Carter, and I am so happy that I was able to share some time with the esteemed Tom Lyons, and I cannot wait to read these books.
Thanks so much.
All right. Moment I've been waiting on, and my soul is overflowing with anxieties and expectations, full of desire.